Probably you would take it, you go to the pharmacy and you get a supplement. But in my case, which was totally different because it was given by a professional.
From the streets of Lagny-sur-Marne to the biggest stages in world football, this right here is about a man who turned flair into a global brand. Paul Pogba, World Cup winner, midfield magician, and one of football's most talked-about superstars. Known for his outrageous passes, bold hairstyles, and larger-than-life personality, Pogba isn't just a footballer, he's a movement. Off the pitch, his lifestyle reflects the same elegance and confidence. Nestled in the heart of Monaco, Pogba's luxury apartment mirrors his success. Sleek interiors, panoramic Mediterranean views, and a setting designed for both privacy and inspiration, just minutes from the world's most exclusive coastline. But behind the trophies, the fame, and the glamour, there's a journey filled with ambition, pressure, setbacks, and resilience. And every journey has its first step. So how did Paul Pogba rise to the top? And what really defines his life beyond football? Let's dive in. Before the world knew the haircut-changing, midfield-commanding, World Cup-winning force named Paul Pogba, there was simply a boy from Lagny-sur-Marne, a quiet commune on the outskirts of Paris. Born on March 15, 1993, Paul Pogba entered a home filled with warmth, culture, and ambition. His parents, Fassou Antoine and Yeo Moriba, had emigrated from Guinea, carrying with them a resilience that would soon shape their youngest child's destiny. Paul grew up as the baby of the family, the youngest of 3 brothers. His older twins, Florentine and Matthias, had been born in Guinea before the family moved to France, and from the beginning, the trio was inseparable. Football wasn't just a hobby in the Pogba household, it was the language of their days, the bond that kept them close, the dream they all shared. But behind the talent and the playful rivalry of the brothers stood the true architect of Paul's rise, Yeo Moriba, the mother whose strength and guidance became legendary. She wasn't just a parent, she was an advisor, a mentor, and the force who ensured her sons had every opportunity she never did. In family stories, she is lovingly called Supermom, the woman who sharpened Paul's discipline and protected his ambition. It didn't take long for the world outside their home to notice the spark. At 6 years old, little Paul laced up his boots for the first time with US Roissy-en-Brie, a small club just a few miles from home. On those suburban pitches, surrounded by concrete blocks and rows of trees, Pogba's journey truly began. For 7 seasons he grew, skill, confidence, leadership, becoming the player other kids followed, the boy coaches couldn't ignore. By 13, he moved to US Torcy, where he immediately captained the under-13 team. Even then, he played with the swagger and elegance fans would later adore, chest out, arms swinging, scanning the field like he owned it. His dominance drew attention beyond local rivals. Scouts whispered about the tall, gifted midfielder from Roissy-en-Brie, who played like he was born for stadium lights. Then came the turning point, the moment that lifted him from suburban prodigy to national prospect. In 2007, Pogba joined Le Havre, one of France's most respected youth academies. There, among elite prospects, Pogba didn't blend in, he stood out. His combination of strength, finesse, and tactical maturity made him the beating heart of the midfield. Within 2 seasons, Europe's biggest clubs were circling. The roar of a stadium can make a player, but for Paul Pogba, it was the silence before the roar that truly defined him. The calm moments in tunnels, the quiet seconds before kickoff, the stillness before a storm of brilliance. His professional journey is not just a football career, it is a saga of talent, risk, reinvention, and destiny. By 2009, Pogba was no longer just a promising academy product at Le Havre. His performances had caught the eye of European giants, and soon a controversial transfer whisked him across the channel to Manchester United, a club where legends are sculpted from raw potential. At United's youth academy, Pogba thrived. His long stride, unteachable calm, and magnetic presence in midfield quickly became impossible to ignore. But breaking into the senior team proved harder. Between 2011 and 2012, he made only 3 first-team appearances, restrained by limited opportunities in a star-studded squad. And so came the first bold decision of his career. In 2012, Pogba left Manchester United on a free transfer, a gamble that would define him. At Juventus, under the fierce and tactical eye of Antonio Conte, he blossomed into one of the most complete midfielders of his generation. Here, Pogba wasn't just a player, he was a phenomenon. Between 2012 and 2016, he won 4 consecutive Serie A titles, 2 Coppa Italia trophies, and 2 Supercoppa Italiana titles. He lit up Europe with audacious long shots, impossible passes, and a style as flamboyant as his evolving hairstyles. By 2013, he won the Golden Boy Award, marking him as Europe's brightest young talent, and in 2014, the Bravo Award, cementing his meteoric status. The continent took notice. Clubs circled, and then came history. In the summer of 2016, Manchester United brought Pogba back to Old Trafford, this time not as a boy, but as the world's most expensive footballer, with a transfer fee of £89.3 million. It was the largest fee in history at the time. With expectations towering over him, Pogba delivered. In his first season back, he led United to both the League Cup and the Europa League, becoming the heartbeat of a rebuilding squad. By the 2018-19 season, he earned a place in the PFA Team of the Year, reinforcing his status as one of the Premier League's finest midfield forces. But the journey wasn't without turbulence. Injuries, disagreements, scrutiny, yet Pogba remained unshaken, carrying flair and joy into every match. In 2022, Pogba returned once more to Juventus, seeking revival on familiar soil. But this chapter was clouded by physical setbacks and an 18-month doping ban that halted his progress. It was a storm he hadn't faced before, one that tested not just his body, but his spirit. The ban was lifted in March 2025, and Pogba, ever the fighter, emerged determined to rewrite the narrative. Later that year, he signed with AS Monaco, beginning yet another chapter fueled by resilience and reinvention. Pogba's club brilliance was only half his story. With France, he became a leader, a force of calm, creativity, and power. He captained the French U20 team to World Cup victory in 2013, earning the tournament's Best Player award. A year later, he debuted for the senior team and won the Best Young Player award at the 2014 FIFA World Cup, announcing himself on football's grandest stage. Then came 2018, the World Cup, Russia, a tournament where Pogba became the emotional and tactical backbone of France's midfield. In the final, he scored a decisive goal against Croatia, helping secure France's second-ever FIFA World Cup title. In blue, Pogba was not just a star, he was a leader, a brother, a champion. Long before his name echoed through stadiums, Paul Pogba understood something crucial. A football career is finite, but a legacy, if built wisely, can last forever. And as the years carved him into one of the most recognized midfielders on the planet, Pogba quietly constructed an empire built not only on trophies and transfers, but on strategy, business acumen, and financial vision. Pogba's earning power began to skyrocket the moment he returned to Manchester United in 2016, a transfer that broke world records at £89.3 million. Under this deal, he commanded a salary of roughly £290,000 per week, amassing over £90 million in wages during his 6 seasons back in England. Even after returning to Juventus in 2022, Pogba remained a high earner, pulling around £7 million per year, supplemented by performance bonuses and image rights. But the financial narrative didn't end with Europe. His 2025 transfer to AS Monaco signaled a new chapter, at reduced wages but rich with purpose. On his Monaco contract, Pogba earns a base salary of €3.84 million per year, receiving weekly gross pay of €73,846, plus performance bonuses and image rights income. His total yearly package surpasses €4.6 million. Across his career, through wages alone, Pogba has accumulated well over $100 million, forming the backbone of a fortune now estimated between $120 to $130 million by the end of 2025. Off the pitch, Pogba transformed charisma into capital. His most powerful commercial relationship remains his 10-year, £31 million deal with Adidas, one of the most lucrative athlete brand partnerships in football. From global campaigns to his own Adidas X Pogba collection, he turned personal style into a business line. Additional sponsorship work from Pepsi, watch brands, streetwear labels, fragrance lines, and major media campaigns adds another $7 to $11 million annually, making endorsements one of his most dependable income streams. Away from the roar of crowds and contract negotiations, Pogba has quietly built a diverse portfolio that reflects both his creativity and his global mindset. We have fashion collaborations. Pogba's fashion profile, bold, expressive, signature, became a foundation for multiple collaborations with high-end brands. These ventures often include limited edition apparel, sneakers, and accessory lines shaped by his unmistakable personal style. Tilting into the future, Pogba co-founded and invested in digital platforms focused on sports analytics and fan engagement, using technology to connect with millions and elevate the football experience. Pogba also holds stakes in online lifestyle businesses offering fitness gear, luxury items, and branded merchandise, ventures that capitalize on his global visibility and diversified audience. Leaning into his real estate portfolio, Pogba's wealth extends into property investments, with real estate holdings in major cities like Cheshire and Miami, generating long-term returns and stability. Beyond living spaces, he also reportedly owns commercial real estate assets, further diversifying his income streams. Then comes the famous Monaco apartment. Now imagine this. The Mediterranean sun rises slowly over Monaco, spilling golden light onto the cliffside terraces and glass balconies that overlook the sea. Among these breathtaking views, tucked inside the quiet luxury of the Principality, lies the place where Paul Pogba is rebuilding his life, his new Monaco residence, a home chosen not for noise or glamour, but for peace, healing, and a fresh start. After 2 difficult years marked by injury, legal storms, and a career pause he never expected, Pogba's return to football needed more than a new club. It needed a sanctuary. And that sanctuary awaited him here, on the Rock. But the journey to this new chapter wasn't one he made alone. Before moving, Pogba sought advice from men who knew Monaco intimately, Kylian Mbappé and Patrice Evra, 2 figures who guided him toward the quiet life he now embraces. They assured him that Monaco was not just a club, but a lifestyle, calm, warm, family-oriented, and far from the chaos of Turin and Manchester. And so, under the Mediterranean sky, Pogba settled into a residence hand-picked with help from his wife, an elegant home nestled in the heart of the Principality, surrounded by palm-lined streets, gentle breezes, and an atmosphere of privacy that few places in Europe can match. Here, he is not the global icon with world record transfers and viral celebrations. Here, he is simply Paul, a father, a husband, a man rediscovering joy. In this new home, Pogba wakes to the sound of waves instead of stadium chants. He trains quietly, step by step, building back his strength under Monaco's soft morning light. Even his coach sees it. He arrives smiling, mixing with teammates, enjoying football again, grateful for each small step back toward the pitch. This residence is more than walls and windows. It is a symbol, a reminder that even giants need places to breathe. The Monaco home offers the one thing Pogba's life had been missing: stillness. Stillness to reflect on the journey. Stillness to reconnect with his family. Stillness to rebuild the fire inside him. His apartment, whether he's standing on the balcony overlooking the Riviera or sitting inside with his family, isn't just a place to live. It's a place to restart, a place where he can write the next chapter on his terms, with clarity, gratitude, and renewed purpose. That's enough sentiment. Moving on, we have his exotic car collection. When Pogba steps away from the pitch and into the stillness of a private garage, another side of the superstar awakens. The roar of a crowd is replaced by the growl of V12 engines. Floodlights give way to the glossy sheen of handcrafted metal, and the man known for flair on the field reveals the same signature taste in the machines he drives. At the heart of Pogba's collection stands the Ferrari 812 Superfast, a raging masterpiece of Italian engineering. Priced around £260,000, this V12 beast pushes 800 horsepower and hits 100 kilometers per hour in just 2.9 seconds. It is not just a car, it is Pogba in automotive form, bold, explosive, unforgettable. Parked beside it, the Lamborghini Aventador rises like an angular sculpture of aggression. Worth approximately £271,000, its thunderous V12 and razor-sharp silhouette reflect Pogba's appetite for speed and drama. It is the kind of car you don't drive, you unleash, where supercars scream. Rolls-Royce whispers. The Rolls-Royce Wraith, valued at roughly £290,000, holds a special place in Pogba's fleet. With its twin-turbo V12, iconic starlight roof, and seamless satellite-aided transmission, the Wraith floats rather than drives. For Pogba, it is more than luxury. It is the quiet elegance behind the persona. He has also been associated with the Bentley Flying Spur, another symbol of opulence and comfort. This sedan, famous for its handcrafted interiors and powerful performance, mirrors Pogba's preference for refinement with force. Footballers love their SUVs, and Pogba is no exception. He owns the Bentley Bentayga, valued at over $180,000, a luxury SUV known for unmatched comfort and a roaring engine beneath its polished frame. Then there's the Mercedes GLS 4x4, a powerhouse that blends practicality with presence. A new GLS typically ranges from $89,000 to $149,500, depending on the variant. Flexibility Pogba likely enjoys for family travel and low-key days. And for moments requiring custom comfort, Pogba has also been linked to a specially modified Mercedes V-Class VIP edition, built for travel with privacy, space, and luxury. Beyond the flash of supercars, Pogba's taste extends to refined performance machines. His Audi RS6, valued around $115,000, remains a fan favorite, an understated powerhouse with a V8 engine and the versatility of a family wagon. Pogba also owns the Maserati Quattroporte, an Italian luxury sedan known for elegance and precision. With an estimated value of around £115,980, it's the kind of car you choose when you want prestige without shouting for attention. Among Pogba's most elite rides sits the McLaren P1, valued around £220,000, an automotive legend, part electric, part twin-turbo V8, and entirely breathtaking. Owning one isn't just about wealth, it's about status, vision, taste, and Pogba has all three in abundance. Each key is a memory, Each engine is a mood. Each drive is a reminder of how far he has come. Pogba's garage reflects not just wealth, but identity. A blend of speed, luxury, artistry, and ambition. No matter where the engines take him, one thing is sure: home is where his heart is. Over the years, Paul's personal life blossomed beyond football. He is in a long-term relationship with Maria Saloes, with whom he shares a family. Their bond is private, warm, and grounded, far from the noise of fame. Together, they navigate a life where football is only one part of the story. The other is built on intimacy, children, and spiritual focus. Pogba's family life is not a glossy magazine spread. It is real, imperfect, and deeply human. He often speaks about how looking at his children reminds him of why he fights so hard to return to the pitch. Their presence gives him purpose. Their smiles renew his strength. "I want them to see me play," he once said. Growing up wasn't always easy. The family lived modestly, and Paul's father had separated from his mother when Paul was just 2 years old, a moment that left Yeo Moriba to raise 3 talented boys largely on her own. But hardship did not weaken the household. It strengthened it. Their home pulsed with discipline, warmth, and shared dreams. And when the world eventually knew him as a superstar, nothing changed at home. Pogba still called his mother daily. He still looked up to his brothers. He still carried with him the values they instilled: faith, humility, love, and gratitude. Today, as Paul rebuilds his career in Monaco, the personal foundations remain unchanged. His family travels with him. His mother continues to guide him. His brothers remain his closest friends and confidants. And in quiet moments by the Mediterranean, Paul Pogba reconnects with the boy he once was, the dreamy child in Lagny-sur-Marne who chased a ball barefoot, imagining a future far beyond the horizon. In the end, Paul Pogba's story is not just the rise of a football genius. It is a story of family sacrifice, a mother's unwavering love, brotherhood, fatherhood, and a man who, despite fame and fortune, has never forgotten where he comes from. The world knows Paul Pogba, the champion, but those closest to him know Paul Pogba, the son, the partner, the father, and the man who carries his family with him in every step, every game, every dream. Giving back is almost in the books for these football icons, and Pogba is no exception. Pogba's philanthropy begins with his own childhood memories. Memories of standing in line at food banks in France with his mother, collecting milk and basic essentials because the family could not afford them. He has said these moments shaped him, teaching him the true value of money and the reality of struggle. These experiences became seeds that grew into a lifelong commitment to giving. As a practicing Muslim, Pogba often speaks of charity as a pillar of his faith. He believes strongly that athletes with global influence carry a responsibility to uplift the communities around them. "I want to help because it can be huge for them," he explained. His compassion is not occasional. It is woven into the rhythm of his life. In 2023, Pogba launched one of the most meaningful projects of his life, a global poverty relief fund built on the Islamic principle of waqf, a perpetual charitable endowment. Created through a partnership with the ethical investment platform Wahed, the fund invests money, generates returns, and uses that income to support education, poverty alleviation, and sustainable development. For Pogba, the goal is nothing small. He said it clearly: ending poverty is the goal. Though the initiative began in the UK, Pogba dreams of taking it worldwide, helping one person at a time until the ripple grows into waves of change. Pogba's philanthropy extends across borders and causes. Among the organizations he has supported, American Red Cross, focusing on disaster relief; Big Shoe 11, helping fund surgeries for children in Tanzania; and the Manchester United Foundation, supporting youth programs and community uplift. His giving is diverse and consistent. In 2017, he joined a charity match in Colombia supporting children's health and launched his own Pogba Foundation the same year. Paul Pogba's greatest legacy may not be his trophies, but the lives touched by his generosity. His assists, it turns out, reach far beyond the pitch. That brings us to the end of this video. Hope it inspired you in one way or another. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on your way out. I'll see you in the next one.